Investing in whiskey casks has become massively popular over recent years, with more and more companies entering the space and offering staggering returns. But not all is as it appears. And we're here today to share some of our experiences to enlighten you to the pitfalls and dangers of investing in casks. Now, of course, this is not investment advice. We are simply professionals that work in the industry. We are here to share our experiences with you and make sure that you have all of the information to make an informed decision that's right for you. Please make sure that you do your own due diligence and be certain of any decision before you make a purchase. So, without further ado, here are our 7 reasons as to why you shouldn't buy a cask of whiskey. Reason number 1, poor practice. Unfortunately, companies offering cask investment opportunities are largely in the market for entirely selfish reasons. Many individuals that were successful in creating the wine market bubble have moved across into whiskey and are operating in exactly the same fashion, driving up prices with no intention of assisting with an exit strategy. Casks that don't exist are being sold, some casks are being sold multiple times over, and certain companies, like my previous employer, are doing all of this illegally as they are not licensed. I would estimate that over 70% of companies currently in the market would fit into this category. Reason number 2, whiskey casks are an over-the-counter trade. Well, what is an over-the-counter trade? This essentially means that prices are set between 2 parties without the guidance or supervision from an external exchange. But whiskey casks are more esoteric than you might think, so ask yourself, do you really know more than the person that is selling the cask to you? And how is the cask in question being valued? Reason number 3, you don't actually own your cask. That's right, unless you're buying from a distillery and storing your cask directly with them, your cask likely doesn't belong to you. Companies working with or dealing in casks of whiskey are currently required to have a WOWGR license. This stands for Warehouse Keepers and Owners of Warehouse Goods Regulations. This means your cask is held and legally owned by that company. So ask yourself, what sort of contract do you have with this company? And how well do you know these people? Because unless you are in direct contact with the warehouse where your cask is stored, chances are you are not the legal owner. Reason number 4, it is an unregulated market. To my previous points, there is no exchange to set prices for whiskey casks. But there is equally no centralized system or governing body that watches over all of these casks. And HMRC have recently announced that they are actually scrapping the WOWGR license as of 2023. So this situation is only going to worsen. Well, why does this matter? Casks are living, breathing things that evaporate and change as they age. Can you ensure that the information you are being given is up to date and accurate? Reason number 5, scarcity. Now, most cask salespeople will sell you a story of scarcity and tell you that your cask is rare and like no other. And who knows, maybe it is. Maybe the person who recently purchased a £16 million cask of Ardbeg is watching. And if that is the case, awesome. Good for you. That cask sounds absolutely amazing, and no doubt you will enjoy drawing down bottles every year over the next 4 or 5 years in the run up to your cask turning 50. But that individual was a high net worth individual. Are you? Or have you bought a cask as an investment vehicle and you need a return? Scarcity would be a good reason to invest, but guess what? There are over 20 million casks maturing in Scotland, with new distilleries popping up all the time and increased output year on year at present. Hundreds of millions of litres are produced per year in Scotland alone. So, chances are what you've bought really isn't that rare. Point number 6, whiskey is a patient man's game. That's right, it's the age-old thing. Whiskey takes time. It actually needs to be at least 3 years and 1 day old to be considered whiskey. So for those looking for overnight returns, I might suggest that you look at something like stocks and shares or even the crypto market, because whiskey is for those that are in it for the long term, for those who want to lay down a cask, watch as it matures, and yes, it will grow in value, but you have to be patient. And finally, reason number 7 as to why you shouldn't buy a cask of whiskey. Well, you buy the rumor and you sell the news. It's the age-old thing. You make money when you buy something. Whiskey investments are being advertised everywhere at present, with huge promises and the supposed proof to back it up. How many of you have been shown a Knight Frank index showing staggering results and being told that this is what you can expect from your cask? Well, if you have been shown those facts, you have been misled, as that Knight Frank index actually tracks some of the most investable bottles in the second-hand market. You should ask yourself, if it's such a good investment, why are these companies selling their stock? Why is this absolutely amazing cask that you're being offered even available in the first place? But I hear you say, Jake, I love whiskey and I've always wanted to own a cask. I've also got friends who have made money with casks, so surely it can be a good investment in some instances. Well, here are 3 reasons as to why maybe you should buy a cask of whiskey. First off, new independently owned distilleries often sell casks as a way of generating revenue. Sometimes they'll make gin, but often the ones that are true whiskey enthusiasts through and through will sell casks before their spirit is old enough to bottle. Now, buying a cask from your favorite distillery is a great way of supporting the industry. And in the past, I've actually told people to avoid buying casks direct from distilleries because they can be quite expensive. However, I would much rather that money being spent on casks that are a little expensive go directly to these distilleries. These distilleries are going to use this money to increase production, build visitor centres, and overall improve the industry. Buying one of these expensive casks through a broker simply puts the money in their pocket. There is no added benefit to the industry and no added benefit to you. Furthermore, if you buy a cask through one of these new distilleries, often you are part of a founders club or some sort of member society where you get exclusive offers on bottles. You can also often go and visit your cask and have an entirely unique experience. Second reason why maybe buying a cask of whiskey is exactly the right thing for you is if you're a high net worth individual or an individual that is looking for their own private bottling. This is something I absolutely love doing. We've actually just done 3 or 4 different private bottlings in the run up to Christmas for clientele who are getting married or who simply want their own seasonal spirit to hand out to friends and family. Equally, if you're a high net worth individual that is a huge whiskey fanatic, the value or purchase price of a cask might not be something that you're overly concerned about. Maybe you're looking for something truly special and you're willing to pay a little bit more to get it. And if that is the case, I would say by all means, crack away and enjoy yourself. There is so much great whiskey out there, and we are here to offer you a little bit of insight if you would like a helping hand. The third and final reason I think buying a cask of whiskey is a really great thing to do is if you're looking to just tuck some money away long term, whether it's for yourself or a loved one. As I've said previously, whiskey casks are a patient man's game. And so if you're looking for overnight returns, please do not buy whiskey casks. However, if the financial return isn't the top of your list and you're looking to take a journey, learn a little bit more about something that you truly love and just tuck some money away long term, buying a cask is a wonderful thing to do. Whether you buy it through a distillery or through a broker, generally speaking, long-term holds of whiskey casks are very difficult to lose money on. In fact, the only real risk that you are looking at is if your cask were to burst and leak entirely, because this is not covered by insurance. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found our 7 reasons as to why you shouldn't buy a cask insightful. We also hope that the 3 reasons as to why maybe you should buy a cask apply to at least a few of you out there. We are not trying to deter you from getting involved in whiskey. I absolutely love whiskey, and if it wasn't for me initially buying those casks from my previous employer, I wouldn't be sat here today. All we're trying to do is make sure you don't make some of the same mistakes that we have, and also some of the same mistakes that we see countless clientele making at the moment. This is a very esoteric market, and there is huge amounts of information that you need to understand before making a purchase. So hopefully we've helped you with a little bit of that today. If you enjoy what you've watched, please hit subscribe and the like button below and keep posted for more of our content coming soon. Slán se bheadh.